Okay, so we're about to take a deep dive into a town that, let's be honest, most people just drive past. But I promise you, hiding just beneath the surface of Watford is a story that is way stranger and, frankly, more important than you could possibly imagine. Let's get into it.
So, what in the world connects Harry Potter's Hogwarts, secret propaganda from World War II, and, get this, an actual Egyptian mummy? I know, it sounds like the setup to a crazy riddle, right? Well, the answer, believe it or not, is this one town in Hertfordshire, and we are about to connect all those dots. All right, let's start with probably the biggest surprise of all, Hollywood. You might think of Watford as just a regular town on the London commuter line, but it's secretly one of the most powerful places in the entire entertainment world. I mean, just look at this. This perfectly sums up the town's wild transformation. This very spot used to be a Rolls-Royce factory, building fighter plane engines during World War II. Now, it's Leavesden Studios. It's like a shadow Hollywood. They literally went from building the machinery of war to building the machinery of dreams.
And when I say it's a powerhouse, I am not kidding. Every single scene of the entire Harry Potter series was filmed right here. But the list just keeps going. The planet Naboo from Star Wars? Yep, Watford. Those insane car chases from the Fast and Furious movies? Watford. Epic battles from Marvel and DC? You guessed it, they all came to life right here.
So, let's have a bit of fun. If you're a Harry Potter fan, you know the dark, spooky, forbidden forest. But where do you think the filmmakers actually went to shoot those scenes?
It's a real place. It's called Whippendell Woods, and it's right there in Watford. And what's so cool about this is how versatile it is. One minute, it's the creepy forbidden forest, and the next, it's the beautiful, lush planet of Naboo in Star Wars. It's just amazing how one little patch of English woodland became a key location for two of the biggest film franchises in history. But way before any movie cameras showed up, Watford had a completely different claim to fame. So let's peel back that layer of Hollywood glamour for a second and get into the industrial grit that really put this town on the map. This really shows you just how much this town has reinvented itself. Today, it's all about digital and cinematic storytelling, but for most of the 20th century, Watford was the printing capital of the entire world, churning out millions upon millions of pages every single day. Now, here's the thing. They weren't just printing a lot, they were innovating. They perfected a process called photogravure, and that technology is what made it possible to print glossy, high-quality color magazines for the very first time. You know those iconic, colorful magazines from back in the day? There's a very good chance they were printed right here. And all that industrial power became incredibly important. During World War II, those same lightning-fast printing presses were used to print millions of these nickel leaflets. This was covert propaganda dropped by the RAF over occupied Europe. It was all about spreading disinformation to the enemy and keeping hope alive for everyone else. A quiet but incredibly powerful weapon. So we've had Hollywood glamour and we've had industrial grit. But you know, the real soul of Watford is in its people. And honestly, there's no better way to get a feel for that spirit than through the story of its football club. This is seriously one of the greatest underdog stories in all of sports. In the late 70s, the club was just stuck. They were at the very bottom of the professional league. But then, two local legends stepped in. Elton John, yes, the rock star, as the chairman, and the amazing Graham Taylor as the manager. And together, they pulled off this absolute miracle, taking the team all the way from the bottom to the top division in just 5 years. But you know what? They didn't just win games. They actually changed the culture of the sport. See, back then, football stadiums could be pretty rough places. Watford pioneered the family stand, making it a safe, welcoming place for everyone. It was a social revolution for the game. And this quote right here, it perfectly captures the town's character. It's a true story. A fan yelled this at one of the biggest rock stars on the planet during a match. It's that perfect Watford mix of humor, grit, and a community where even a global icon is just one of the locals. Okay, so we've done movies and we've done machines. Now it's time to go a little deeper into the weird, the spooky, and the just plain bizarre stories that are hiding in this town's past. You can't have an old town without a good ghost story, right? Well, Watford's is the Lady in Grey. For hundreds of years, people reported seeing this sad, silent ghost wandering through the old Cassio Berry house. But here's the creepy part.
The house was torn down almost 100 years ago, but people walking in the park still say they feel sudden cold spots and hear the rustle of a silk dress. And the weirdness definitely doesn't stop there. Just try to picture this: a 19th century doctor who kept an actual Egyptian mummy in his study. Or the persistent rumors of secret tunnels running from the old pubs to the church. And for years, there was a bend in the road so steep it was known as the leaning bus of Watford, because double-deckers would tilt at this terrifying angle. So, we have blockbuster movies, printing presses, ghosts, and mummies. What on earth is the thread that connects all of this? Well, to really understand Watford, we have to go all the way back to the very beginning. And here it is. This is the key that unlocks the whole story. The name Watford actually comes from the Old English for Wada's Ford. It wasn't designed to be a city. It started as something much, much simpler. Just a safe place to cross a river set up by a Saxon guy named Wada more than 1,000 years ago. And that one simple fact, a good spot to cross a river, shaped the town's entire future. The location of that crossing is what dictated where the canal would go, then where the railway would be built, and eventually where all the major industries would pop up. The river itself was like the town's hidden architect. So when you put it all together, what you have is this incredible story of constant reinvention. It started as a humble river crossing, grew into a market town, became an industrial powerhouse, and now it's a global creative hub. Watford is proof that a place can completely change its identity over and over again. And that really is the big idea here. Every single town, every city has these hidden layers just waiting to be discovered. The story of Watford is a great reminder that the places we think we know are often the ones with the wildest secrets. So it kind of leaves me with a question for you. What forgotten history is lying just under the surface, right where you live?